Today I figured I'd give you a bit of my perspective on why I think kettlebells are the resistance tool of choice for so many people. Now, for those of us who love kettlebell training and who love to promote kettlebell training, it's almost as if there couldn't be a better resistance tool out there. And so I figured, why not give you an idea from my perspective as to why that is. So when I talk about the effectiveness of a training program with kettlebells, I can't help but think about the bulk of that effectiveness is coming simply from the shape of the device itself. The fact that in this position, which is the rack position, this kettlebell is constantly trying to pull away from my body the whole time. If I bring it up here and I'm not efficient in the way that I do that, then I'm going to have to struggle to keep it here. If this position is not engaged, right, if my body's not engaged under the weight of this kettlebell, if I'm just kind of relaxed, then all of a sudden this kettlebell is trying to basically win an arm wrestling match against me. So if I think about this being a pretty basic position for my presses, for my squats, for any other kettlebell-based rack movement, lunges, things like that, then I'm going to have this added benefit that this device is continuously trying to corkscrew my hand or my arm away from my body. So that's one of the most effective things about the kettlebell. So when talking about the shape of the kettlebell being one of the things that makes the training practice so effective, I want to take a look at the momentum-based movements that I'm allowed to do with this kettlebell. The fact that the ball being on one side of that handle allows me to very easily swing the kettlebell back between my legs and back up. Now that alone is going to be a really effective part of this practice. The fact that I can maintain a flow with these movements, easily swinging the kettlebell up, going from one movement into the next, going from one hand to the next very easily, and then coming back up. Now, while I'm doing all of those momentum-based movements is going to be another one of the physical properties that makes this kettlebell training practice so effective. As I'm throwing this kettlebell through space, if I'm not aware of my own engagement, then it's going to pull me off balance. If I'm also not aware of my own balance points, then the kettlebell is going to really try to get out of control. So if my balance is shifting from back to front, it's immediately going to throw me off. Almost as if I can picture something that's supposed to be staked down to the ground, not really being stuck there, and when I go to pull on it, it's going to tip itself over. The shape of the kettlebell alone and the dynamics that goes into all of these back swings and explosive movements means that I have to be well aware of my own center of gravity, my own base of support, and how my body's engaging so that I can maintain those things as this kettlebell is going through space. So there you have it. As far as my perspective on kettlebell training goes and why I find them to be so effective, two simple things have to do with the shape of the kettlebell alone. The fact that that ball on one side of the handle means that that kettlebell is always trying to get away from my body, whether I'm standing in the rack position or I'm swinging it through space. That's increasing my awareness of how I have to engage against that resistance. That increased awareness allows me to take that, transfer it over to my day-to-day life, and whenever I'm dealing with any sort of external resistance, I can be a lot more aware of how I'm holding my own center, how I'm holding my own levels of engagement in order to keep me balanced and safe against that resistance. If you have access to kettlebells, if you have them, give it a shot. Maybe go and do a couple of cleans and presses with it, with what I just suggested. take in mind that if you don't focus enough on what you're doing, that kettlebell is going to try to get out of your control. Again, this is Mujib from Country Kettlebells saying, I hope that you're as mindful about your kettlebell practice as I am, and as all of us fanatics are. Enjoy.